Welcome back, everybody, to the 31 Days of Halloween on the Calvin Cam podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything spooky and chilling. I'm Calvin.
And I'm Anthony. And today we have An American Werewolf in London. So let's get into it.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is day 17 of the 31 Days of Halloween on our podcast, and things are going pretty good. We're halfway through the month here.
We are halfway through the month, and like I said, thank you for sticking with us. And we're trying to provide the rest of the movies for the month, and I hope you like it so far.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's been a good ride so far, so let's continue on that train. Today's episode is An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, this is a classic comedy horror film.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements in it that I really enjoyed, and it's definitely it has its very comedic elements, and but also it's a very grounded horror movie.
Yeah, it also has a little romance in there too.
There's a little romance, yeah.
So we'll start you off with a briefing of this movie. American Werewolf in London is a 1981 comedy horror film written by John Landis. If you know who John Landis is, he did work on Thriller for Michael Jackson back in the day.
That makes so much sense just off of some of the practical makeup that I saw in this movie, especially with his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is an international co-production in the United Kingdom and the United States. The film stars David Noddington, Jenny Aguilar, Griffin Dunn, and John Woodvine. The film's plot is two American backpackers, David and Jack, who are attacked by a werewolf while traveling in England, causes David to become a werewolf under the next full moon. The basic overview and a little bit of a plot for you, but not really. But yeah, this movie, it was really, really good. I thought it was really, it had really good pacing too.
It does. It's very entertaining. The whole movie is very captive of your imagination, especially with werewolf. It keeps the werewolf transformation very mysterious and very suspenseful, and especially after they originally are backpacking through Europe and then they find the Silent Lamb?
No, it's the Slaughtered Lamb.
Slaughtered Lamb. Okay, Silence
Come
of
on,
the Lambs.
Calvin.
No, but the Slaughtered Lamb, and then all of the folks in there, they are very eerie when it comes to their
Well, there's a pentagram on the wall,
yeah.
And Jack says, "Why don't you ask him about it?" And he's just he wants to make it a little more lively, because once they enter it, it seems like it's lively, and then it just stops, and they sit down.
They're outsiders.
They're outsiders in this slaughtered lamb. So yeah, it starts you off with an eerie approach, and then everything's all comfortable. The guy in there gives a John Wayne story, because Jack references something about the Alamo and John Wayne,
mm-hmm.
and then
there you go. And then they piss him off, and they are like, "You guys got to go," basically.
Yeah, and they start walking through the moors, and they start talking about. I think I hear something circling. Maybe we should go back to the slaughtered lamb. And that's
when they start heading back, and then
there's a comedic element. They say, well, "Why did you stop?" in this, and then all of a sudden Jack falls, and David's running away, and he's like, "Oh shit, Jack!" So he runs back, and that's when the werewolf attacks them, and Jack gets just pulverized,
mauled. Yeah, no, it's really crazy too, because when it does happen to Jack, and this werewolf's just eating him pretty much on the ground the whole time, and you don't really get to see his body though. You just see a lot of blood, and you see a couple gashes here and there, but it's not until Jack is reintroduced into the story, because apparently upon becoming a werewolf, you have this psychic ability with the dead, to where all of your victims you can see and communicate with, kind of. So Jack reappears, and he is torn the fuck up. It is crazy. The prosthetics Like the makeup, oh my god, it's so cool. Like I was like, wow, this is gruesome looking.
Yeah, and the practical effects are done by Rick Baker. He actually won an Academy Award for this. It was like one of the first ones for special effects that the Academy gave out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the practical effects, the costume, the makeup was all done by him, and it was phenomenal. Like that scene where he appears, and he's
I was just like, wow.
And just all the dream scenes of David having all these weird nightmares because he's becoming a werewolf and he's thinking about running. And there's a scene where you have a first person shot of him running and he bites on a deer. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then we have this other one where he wakes up from a nightmare and Nurse Price is in there, Alex Price.
Yeah.
And she said, "Are you okay?" He's like, "No, I had a terrible nightmare." And then the nightmare was he had some crazy Nazi werewolves break into his house in New York and like kill his whole family.
It's so wild.
It's so strange, but so comedic at the same time. Like,
yeah.
This movie really just had some really funny parts as well.
Not to mention, just like on top of it being funny, the scary elements that are introduced, like his werewolf transformation is incredible. Like the practical effects of him transforming when he looks at his hand and his hand's starting to grow, and like his he's growing hair, and then when eventually it gets to his face and his snout starts coming out, like I was just like mesmerized by this transformation.
Yeah, Baker did an awesome job. I mean, that was like the pivotal moment, like the best part of the special and practical effects there. It was awesome and well done. Just even over time, even when he sees Jack again, and he sees him a couple of times, he sees him in Alex's apartment, and you can see that he's totally decaying. So you can see his eyeballs coming out of his socket, and it's just like, oh man, it looks so bad. And it's just like, and then Jack persists, "You need to kill yourself, David." And he's just, there's so much the comic elements. He takes the little Mickey Mouse. He goes, "Hi, David." And it's really funny that they just tied all that in. And, at this point, Alex has him in his apartment. She feels sorry for him, and she says she's attracted to him, and she basically falls for him in the hospital, and she's taking care of him to begin with, anyways.
Other victims that he kills once he's transformed, they appear with Jack as well.
Yeah, in the Piccadilly porn little porn theater, and he's like, Jack's like, "I have a couple people I want you to meet," and it shows all the people that he killed, which in the that's the part of the horror element which was really good. I thought the shots and the portrayal of the guy in the subway was really cool. Like those scenes are really cool. I thought those were the best ones. I mean, the other ones are good, don't get me wrong, but the one in the subway was the best.
No, I definitely like the first person camera running at the guy down the subway halls. Like it's really, really intriguing. And once he gets attacked, it's cool. It's cool to see. Doesn't he wake up in a zoo?
He wakes up in a zoo, yeah. And then there's that scene with the little boy. He's like, "Hey, little boy, come over here. I'll give you a couple of pounds." He goes, "What are you gonna give me a couple pounds for?" And then there's a scene, and then he goes back to his mom. He goes, "A naked man stole my balloons." It was really, really funny. So the comedic element mixed in and the horror makes this movie so entertaining, and it's so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, well, I really, really loved this movie. I thought that it was great all the way to the end, even with him, them cornering him in the alley.
Yeah, and you can see that Nurse Alex Price, loves him so much. Like she wants to try to help him, but you can see the emotion in his face. Like you can see him as a werewolf. You see the emotion in his face on the last scene.
But then he still tries to kill
then
her.
He tries to jump towards her and then is apparently shot by the SWAT team. So,
which I thought the whole sequence was really well done. I just thought it was really funny because like once he is transformed into the werewolf in the theater, what you would call it, the citizens of London, they're all like gathering towards him. Like you would think that in mass panic they'd be like everybody be running for their lives.
Yeah.
But no, like these people, I was like, what are these people doing?
Yeah, and then you had that crazy scene when he jumps out and the cars are all crashing into each other, and
I was like,
it was just so much mass murder going on in like 30 seconds of that scene. It was so crazy.
it's fun. It's kind of ridiculous, but
Yeah.
it's funny. It's good. But all in all, like I loved it. One of the things I wanted to mention before we get into our final like review was like the actual not the transformation itself, but the acting in the transformation. I think he did such a great job. Like when he's just like comes in the room and is immediately just like he's burning up. He's like, like I just thought it was really good. I love werewolves, and I think that transformations are definitely a key part of the whole werewolf thing. And I thought this one was like, this is like up there at the top in my transformations for werewolves. So I just thought that his acting while turning is really great. And even in the theater when he's turning, he's like shaking on the seat, like
he's telling the usher to leave. He's like,
just
leave.
Like, dude, leave, man. Yeah, so it's wild. I loved it a lot.
What would you rate this movie?
If I were to rate this movie, I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's, like critically acclaimed or anything. Obviously the prosthetics won an award. But I just think that it is a solid movie, great pacing. It's funny. It's got really great humor, and I just love I really love the acting.
Yeah, I thought the acting was solid. I also give it a 4 out of 5. I like the story in this movie. I like the element of mixture between comedy and horror. I do like the acting. The acting was great in this movie. I thought the special and practical effects by Rick Baker were amazing. And yeah, this movie's solid.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's conclude this episode with some fun facts.
Yes, let's got some fun facts for you here. Yeah, I will hit you with some here. This one's pretty good. Rick Baker plays one of the Nazi werewolves in the nightmare sequence, specifically the one who slashes David's throat.
Nice.
Michael Jackson was so bowled over this movie, most especially by the makeup and visual effects, he insisted on hiring the responsible personnel and planned the music video for 1983's Thriller, which we talked about in the beginning of the episode. When John Landis agreed to direct his first music video, he brought on board his foremost werewolf crew, including Robert Padvin. He did as a cinematographer. Elmer Birdstein did the creepy music, and obviously Rick Baker did the makeup and effects, and his wife, Deborah Nadoodman. Hopefully I pronounced that right. So that's cool. Jenny Aguilar both appears as a hospital workers in Sammy Raimi's Darkman in 1990.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. So that was a cool one. Do you have any that come to mind? I have a couple more. But
I got a couple. Let's see. David Kessler spends 50% of the movie nude.
Yeah, he's pretty nude in this movie.
It's funny. David's werewolf transformation scene is 2 minutes long. That is a long scene. Like a solid 2 minute scene. Yeah.
Most of the time with all the new special effects, a transformation takes like what, less than time than that?
I mean, well, look at like one of my favorite werewolf transformations is Van Helsing. I really liked Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. And like that's immediate, like 5 seconds maybe. So 2 minutes that's pretty extensive. Let's see. It took days to film the love scene. Days.
That's kind of shocking.
Let's see. The werewolf, either as Patty Ryan, first werewolf, or David, has only 1 minute of screen time. So
really?
His full transformation in screen time is only 1 minute.
Wow. Here's a pretty cool one. After the filming was completed, the whole crew danced around Davy Noddington, who was still in his werewolf makeup on the floor. I'm a werewolf. You're a werewolf. Wouldn't you like to be a werewolf too? As a throwback to his days as a pitch man for the Dr. Pepper commercials.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I thought that one was funny, so I had to mention that fun fact.
I guess the last one I have is the body count number for this film is 9.
Ooh,
So,
interesting there.
Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, probably despite the crash scene, but like,
Yeah,
but,
I guess you could add that. I don't know. That's not really werewolf kills, right?
but yeah. All right. But that's it. That's all I got. You got any more?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, that's it for day 17. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and we will catch you tomorrow. Boom, boom, boom.
Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great night.
Thank you all so much for watching the Calvin Cam podcast. You can find us on any social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter. Go check our podcast out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. We also have YouTube channel, the Calvin Cam. Go over there, hit that like and subscribe button, and follow us there. As well as you can now really support us on Patreon.com. It's probably the best place to support us. So you could go there, join one of our 3 tiers, and help us get bigger and better, and we will appreciate you every step of the way. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.